Awake from the dream of the picture you painted. If you want it, proclaim it. Say it loud and proclaim it. Make sure you leave with something more than you came with. You will achieve, fueled by the will to attain it. So no more complaining, proclaim it.
So today we have a very special show because today we will be speaking on politics in Washington, D.C. with Anthony Muhammad, who is running for City Council member for Ward 8. Anthony Muhammad is a native son to Ward 8 and the product of the public school system. Since 1990, he has served the city first as an ANC in Ward 4 and then as an ANC in Ward 8. He currently serves as the chair of ANC 8E. Since the beginning of his political career, Mr. Muhammad has accepted the responsibility to improve the lives of his constituents. Mr. Muhammad speaks truth to power and works so the average citizen can have a better life. His experience with policies, budgets, and adjudication is just what Ward 8 needs to get the job done, and he has the determination to work for the best interests of Ward 8's residents. His leadership experience includes the following: D.C. delegate for a historic 2008 Democratic Convention, Ward 8 State Committeeman, Vice President, 7th District Metropolitan Police Department Citizens Advisory Board, Taxi Cab Commissioner, former board member, Architectural and Interior Design Board, Prison Reform Minister, Trauma Officer, Anacostia High School. Mr. Muhammad is Ward 8. He went to Bart Junior High, Ballou Senior High, UDC, and George Washington Neighborhood College. He's a veteran of the Air Force Reserves and has lived in Highland, Fort Staten, Fair Lawn, Congress Heights. He boxed at number 11 Boys and Girls Club, volunteers in the prisons in the Mid-Atlantic region, and worked closely with Councilman Marion Barry. He's married to Joy Muhammad, has 3 sons, 3 daughters, and 8 grandchildren. Mr. Muhammad is the change agent for the ward and has the vision to lead.
So without further ado, I would like to welcome Brother Anthony Muhammad to Proclaimit Radio. And how are you doing this evening, sir?
Good. Thank you, Ms. Akila, for inviting me to be on Proclaimit Radio. I'm very, very excited to be on the air with you.
Well, we are definitely excited to have you on Proclaimit Radio as well, sir. So before we begin, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, I've been in Washington, D.C. for a little over 50 years, and most of the things that you just announced about me, that are the things that I have done and still are doing. I've been doing them for a number of years and will continue because I want to see the total liberation of the less, the least, and the left out of Washington, D.C., which is mostly in Ward 8.
Yes, sir. So, well, that is definitely good news, and you definitely show by your track record that you have been successful and steadfast in the liberation of our people, especially in Ward 8. So this may sound like a silly question, but not everybody knows. What does a city council member actually do for the community?
Well, the actual function of the City Council of Washington, D.C. is part of the actual legislative branch, and we were permitted by the Constitution to function as a legislative body. And we are actually overseen by the federal government since 1973. They just devoured a certain amount of power to the council that typically would be exercised by a state, but Washington is not a state. Congress actually maintains supreme authority over the federal district, and therefore all of the acts, laws, regulations are subject to the congressional review and can be overturned. So that's basically the actual function. But in Washington, a lot of the function has been reduced to constituent service, where they help people pay bills, especially in Ward 8, electric, phone, gas, And sometimes you may have heard about a turkey giveaway that is done every year by the former council member, Mayor for Life, Marion Murray, who would give away turkeys during Thanksgiving at a popular church in Washington in Southeast. So that
right.
actually sums up what the council actually does.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, that's definitely a big responsibility. So what are your main objectives for running for City Council in Ward 8? What do you plan to change, and what would you plan to implement?
For one, health is your real wealth. Everyone is looking for money, but you can't spend money 6 feet under. Health is your real wealth. Build a hospital in Ward 8 with a trauma unit. Most of the trauma is taking place in Ward 8. And a lot of people don't make it alive because there is no trauma unit, and you have to be driven all the way to Washington Hospital Center or to George Washington Hospital for trauma. That's one. And I would maintain the budget that they already have for health, and it seems like we don't see it actually being put to work. It's $223 million in the health budget. I would bring a healthy eating exercise program. I would want to get rid of all the GMOs that's in the school system, genetically modified organisms that they put in food that is not healthy for our growing children. And those are some of the things, because I know if a person is not healthy, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter how much education you have. It don't matter how old you are. If you are not healthy, everything else is all downhill. Not just getting jobs, I would want for Ward 8. I would like to produce entrepreneurship, encourage people to provide training for people to become entrepreneurs, meaning make your own job. And if you have made your own job, you can't be fired. A job has an ending and a beginning. We want it to continue after any projects are over. So we would like to require developers and subcontractors to help with small businesses to help with insurance bonding. And a bonding is like an insurance policy. If anything happens to any of the workers, you won't be sued, or if they don't have a payroll, this bond will ensure that those things will be taken care of. And sometimes the bond is more than the contract that the contractor is applied for. So a small business would not even make it in some of these contracts that the building contractors would have. A lot of times when contractors are paid working under a general contractor, they pay the contractor in such long intervals, 50, 60 days before they meet a payroll. So when it's time to pay their workers, they're late or tell them they have to do back another day. We would like it to make it in the contract that they would have to pay a subcontractor within 40 days.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and that actually
most definitely needed for people to maintain a business in that ward. There are trillions of dollars coming to Ward 8, and most of the time we do not from the contractors, the builders, the developers that build in Ward 8. I would say 99% of the time, because we have not been on the cutting edge of knowing what we can legally ask for from a builder. They just built a center, which is a federal center, the Coast Guard headquarters in Ward 8, and that project was built worth $3 billion. Not one person became a millionaire because that was built. No one who owned a dumping company with dump trucks, no company that had a cleaning company, no person who was a deep rock operator became a millionaire because we weren't in on the negotiating of the contract. We were a worker. We worked and got paid for 8 hours. A contractor is bidding for a contract that he can do this whole project that's worth $3 billion. I can do all of your sheetrock for maybe $200 million, and I can do all the sheetrock. Then I can pay. I'm the owner of this company, and I can pay people a decent wage, and I won't take all day to get it done. Those are some of the ideas that I have for a ward that has this kind of potential. And we see after the absence of a strong city council member, developers will come in and pounce on any weakness that's in that ward and actually run rumshod over the entire ward and do what they want to do without giving the community, the groups, the associations, the housing, the apartments, the civic, the church community, anything as they come through the community, building. And this is on the way to take place in the very near future. And I want to sit as a watchman over all of this taking place to make sure no one will be displaced, replaced by someone else.
Right, yes, sir. So how will you make sure that the business owners that are in the 8th Ward know about these kinds of things, and how will you make sure they get the information about it so they can get in on early on getting these contracts and things like that? How will you make sure the people get this information so they can do something about it?
They have an office of the Deputy Mayor of Economic Development. All of it actually, 1 is online, 2 is put in a book and placed in a library. So a lot of it will, A, be in print, B, online, and sent out to all of the contractors that are in Ward 8. So it's specific information for specific people to get involved. And they also always have community meetings where the ANCs in the ward, which is 35 ANCs in Ward 8, 5 commissions with 7 commissioners apiece. So it's enough food with enough information to make sure that everyone who wants the information can get it. But as the scriptures say, knock, the door will be open. Ask, and you will receive. If you stay at home, look at TV, play games, look at Scandal, and all the other things that won't pay you 1 penny, you'll never get any information. First, we have to be open to look for it. So the information is there and can be accessed.
Yes, sir. So that leads me to another question. I know that a lot of people in a younger generation, like young adults, seem to not really be very interested in politics and into any of this, which we're talking about. But as we can see from what you're saying, it is very important that we are knowledgeable about the resources that we can have so that we can be players in this economic system of uplifting our people. So do you have any plans for getting more youth and young people involved? Do you have any strategies for making this knowledge and this participation seem like something that we would actually want to do and that we should be excited about doing?
Go where they are. They are on the social media, Instagram, Facebook, every social media where they are hiding out and make the information available and known and make it something that they would want to look at. I've been to Coral Gables in Florida. I've been to Congress Heights in Southeast. If I took a picture of Coral Gables and put it next to Congress Heights, Southeast Washington, and you look at the picture and ask someone, which place would you want to move into? And in that answer would be why you should get involved. I look at the black community that has more churches or more liquor stores in it than a school. Zoning is one avenue that most of us do not get involved with. It's tedious. It's long-term involvement. It's making sure that buildings are a certain height. It's making sure paint is a certain color. It's making sure the material that's used to build a building is a certain quality. It's making sure windows are a certain size. It's making sure that the ceiling is not a 8-foot ceiling as opposed to a 12-foot. Those types of things you learn in zoning. And when we stay at home and don't get involved, you see the ghetto and you see a Coral Gables. You'll see something that looks like it's drawn out of a picture book, and you see something that looks like it was drawn by one of your brothers at 3 years old. And that's what we have in every black community in the United States. If you go on Martin Luther King Avenue, anywhere in the United States, you can probably order a stove. You probably could order a car. You can probably get the latest drugs that's being smoked or sold in that community. The zoning of most communities, we do not get involved with the zoning laws, rules, regulations in those cities. And by staying home and not getting involved, you'll see a church next to a liquor store. You'll see a building 90 feet tall, and you'll see one 10 feet tall. There will be no kind of uniformity in the building of the projects that are being built in the black community, but all kind of order in the things, in the order in communities where they're more knowledgeable, more informed, or more involved. We have to get involved. We have to be a part. And we don't want to see paper signs on stores, signs all through the windows and all the stores that we look at in the black community. You can drive anywhere at any time. Once you hit the black community, you automatically know, oh, yeah, black people live right here. Automatically. You go when it's spick and span clean, you start tightening. Oh, we better make sure we do everything right. Don't turn the corner the wrong way. Don't make sure they don't run the line. Stop. The police gonna get you. Even if they're not looking and no one is there, you think somebody's looking at you. When you see a street spick and span clean, you get in order automatically when you see cleanliness. You get out of order when you see dirty, trash, and everything out of order in a neighborhood that you drive through. You wouldn't mind throwing the trash out the window.
Yes, sir. And I definitely would agree of the psychology that goes with that. When you see a neighborhood or a community that's organized, you're expected to carry yourself in a certain way, and it's just kind of innate that you behave that way. And like you said, I've noticed in a lot of our communities when it's not like that, it's kind of just a little bit more or a lot more chaotic. So you definitely have a point there, and that's a good point. It's something I hadn't necessarily considered until you just said that. And just moving along, I noticed you also have worked with the Prison Reform Ministry as a counselor. How did you get involved with that work, and how will that be beneficial to? How has it been beneficial to the community, and how will it continue to be beneficial to the community?
Well, whenever you have a person that was in violation of rules, laws, regulations of a civilized society, and they begin to reform their ways, you have someone like the prodigal son, who squandered his wealth and lived a lascivious life, and he returns to a sense of consciousness, a sense of, I need to do something to get back to my community. You have something that's like a diamond that was in the rough, and now it's been shined up, cleaned up, ready to go to work to make amends to the things and to the people that he offended. You have someone that has been in hell and now ready to go to heaven because he knows what hell is because that's where he's been. He knows what down and out is because that's where he's been. He knows what being sleeping on the street is because that's where he slept. He knows what a shelter is. That's where he's been. And when he gets a chance to make amends and do better than what he's been doing after being reformed, his spirit is being revamped and renewed to give back to his community. You have a person that you never could chase back to going to the wrong direction. So going into a prison, knowing that the United States were made out of the same type of people. They were the spoils of England, and they let them out of prison to build the United States, and you have something that no one in the world could argue is one of the best places to live in the world, with all the modern amenities, with a store where you can buy anything that you want that is good. No one would argue that that's the best place that I would want to be. So you have everyone in the world dying to get to the United States of America. Dying to get there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And bring me to a sense of consciousness that I owe these people that I have harmed, that I've done wrong to. I want to make amends. You have a great soul. So that's that work that I do. And as I was growing up, my father was incarcerated, who's since passed, may Allah be pleased with him, who has since passed. He was incarcerated, and I determined that I would never, ever go there. I never went to see him when he was incarcerated. I mean, he got out of prison before he passed, but I never went to see him while he was incarcerated. And I made up my mind I would never be incarcerated and never have to. Not that it makes me any better, but I knew that I should go in there, that I may be some type of example saying I lived the same life, lived in the same conditions that you lived in, and never fell victim to the things that some of us fell victim to. That you can do better than what you're doing. And you have an obligation, if not to no one else, if you can't see yourself being obligated to yourself, do it for your mother, who carried you for 9 months, who, if she knew that you would be here, she might would have made another decision what to do with you. And the responsibility of those who say they are the righteous is written in both scriptures of those who say that they are Christian, and this is a Christian nation. And Jesus in the scriptures asked the question, when was I hungry and you fed me not? When was I in prison and you visited me not? And the question was answered by, if you have not done this to the least of these, you haven't done it to me. So if I only can go visit those who are high up in status and that has power, I only can do something for them and forget about those that are not on TV, not on the screen, and may never be on. If I can do it to those who may never be seen, that determines my heart, my mission, and who I really am. So we all have an obligation to those who are less fortunate. And I have accepted the challenge.
Yes, sir. And I definitely think that is very, very important that we don't just focus on a certain group of people or these people in college or these people look like they're doing something, but that we have city council members who care about everyone. Every person is important. Every person is valuable, no matter what they may have gone through or what they ran into throughout their life here. Every person can be an important aspect of the community and making the community better. So I definitely dig that. That's really actually pretty cool that you go into the prison systems and counsel the young men there and help to get them back and straight and to be good, productive citizens in society. I think that's amazing. And as far as some of the other things that you've done, you were an advisory neighborhood commissioner for Wards 8 and Wards 4, and I wanted to ask, how do you think that will help you to be a good city council member for Ward 8?
Because of the things that had to be done. You had to serve the community, and that's my mission, to serve the people in Ward 8. I was involved and still am involved in every major thing that has to be done in a ward, from building housing to lights being turned on, from schools being accredited, to people returning from prison, from seniors having no taxes to be paid while they are up in age. These are most in need, along with employment, of the ward that has the highest rate of unemployment and the highest rate of HIV. When you see a ward that has such major handicaps, it would seemingly would be a no-brainer for those who have more to assist those who have less. But it has not worked that way. If it's been known and continues to be known as the least, the lost, the left out, it would seem that those who are in the council would assist, aid and assist in every way, means, method possible. But that has not been the case. So if you don't have a strong person willing to fight, stand and fight for the people that are in Ward 8, that are less fortunate than those that are in the other wards, you will have a city or a ward where we have been moved out to another section of the country, not just the city, but outside, because Ward 8 is the last bastion of hope for black people in Washington, D.C.
Yes, sir. And we are actually going to go into a quick commercial break, and we'll be back after these few short messages.
Okay, very good.
Muhammad's economic blueprint will allow us to help ourselves in our battle to create jobs and end our poverty and want. Under this wise economic plan, we can now use our collective power of our dollars to build a future for ourselves, which is 5 cents a day, 35 cents a week, $1.40 a month, and $18.20 for the entire year, multiplied by our 16 million wage earners. That would give us $291 million in just 1 year. Everyone can give 35 cents a week as an investment in their future. Donate now and see what our pennies, nickels, and dimes can accomplish. You can find out more information on economicblueprint.org. To all my fashionistas out there, you know how much of a hassle it is to change your handbag to match your outfit. Well, now we have the perfect solution. With Michi, you can keep the inside of your bag and just change the outside cover of your bag to match your outfit. Shop online today at loveme.michi.com. That is LOVEME.MICHE.com. Want to raise money for your church building or a trip coming up and you don't want to pay those high fees? Well, visit icarewegive.com where it's free to start your project.
Awake from the dream of the picture you painted. If you want it, proclaim it. Say it loud and proclaim it. Make sure you leave with something more than you came with. You will achieve, fueled by the will to attain it. So no more complaining, proclaim it.
And welcome back to ProclaimItRadio.com. I'm your host, Sister Akila Muhammad from Washington, D.C., and we are live on the air with Anthony Muhammad, who is running for City Council Member for Ward 8 in Washington, D.C., and I just want to jump right back into our question. So we left off talking about the fact that Anthony Muhammad has had a lot of different experiences with politics and in the government. So I wanted to go specifically and ask Anthony Muhammad, what are your thoughts on the current state of healthcare in Ward 8, and how can it be made better if you were a city council member?
The first thing is to build a hospital, a full-fledged, accredited hospital with a trauma unit running 24/7, and change the eating habits of the residents, one mouth at a time. Continue to have the $223 million health budget that is already in place, but redirect some of the money, more of it, in the part of the city that is the least, the less, and the left out. If that can be done, and a full-fledged education of what food can and will do to you, what vegetables, what fruit can and will do for you, I believe that will turn around the health of the people that are the most overweight in the city, just in changing a diet that will improve the health of the 70,000 people that live in Ward 8. Exercise program. They took out exercise. They took out gym in high schools. You don't have gym. You almost don't go outside at all. You're driven from door to door, either in a car, a bus, and there's no more walking. There's no more running. If you're not in a sports in the school where you belong, you get no exercise. And it's obvious we have not volunteered to do any exercise on our own. We must exercise if we want to stay on the planet for a long time.
Yes, sir.
Bring a hospital to Ward 8. Bring a birthing center to Ward 8. Make it where having a child is not a sickness. It has been made that having a child is a sickness and not a natural occurrence in every human's life. You're bringing more healthier children that bond with their parents and won't be willing to kill their parents.
Yes, sir. And see, that's a whole nother topic about what's going on with healthcare that we definitely could talk about for a long time. I also wanted to give the audience an opportunity to call in and ask their questions as well. I didn't announce that. The number to call in and ask your question is 646-478-0603. And you just press 1 and you'll be able to be on air and you can ask Anthony Muhammad a question. And with that, oh my goodness, I was just listening to what you were saying about having the full facilities and the hospital and just really teaching people and educating them about what they're eating and what's going on. And I know you mentioned earlier about GMOs in the school systems, and I actually wasn't aware that they were they're actually using GMO foods in the school systems. And I think probably if more people knew what that actually meant, because a lot of times people think it's GMO food, but it's actually genetically modified organisms, as you said, that maybe we would care more, but it's really just a lack of knowledge that we really don't know what's going on and what's happening to our babies. It's just like we're just going to work every day, and we're not really paying attention to what's happening. And as we can see in the world today with the different shootings and police brutality, that we need to start paying attention. So I think, as you said, it's going to be very, very important to continue to let people know what's going on. But go ahead, you sound like you wanted to say something.
And get rid of the high fructose corn syrup that is in everything that you can eat that causes us to absorb more weight and become overweight very fast. It makes our stomachs very bloated. High fructose corn syrup. If we could eliminate everything that's called juice, all of it has high fructose corn syrup in it, the so-called natural and the unnatural. Drink water and won't you see a big difference in 90 days. Only drink water. You get milk directly from a cow, drink that. But no juice. Not even orange juice.
Yes, sir. It looks like we do have, well, first of all, I totally agree. And but it looks like we do have a caller. So caller with the last four digits, 6880. You are now live on Proclaimit Radio, and you can ask your question to Anthony Muhammad.
Okay, great. I'm RTM from Miami, Florida. My question is, if new resources were available, what one area of county services would you feel most need additional resources?
What service would need more additional resources?
Yes, sir. If given that you had some more new resources were available in your in the county, what services you feel most need additional resources?
Yeah. The health is always the number one. If you 100%, you can do anything that you want. If you're healthy, you can work. If you're healthy, you can walk. If you're healthy, you can get educated. If you're healthy, you can sure find a job. If you're healthy, you can do whatever is needed to be done because you have your health at 100%. If you're sick, if you're out and can't do anything, your legs not working, your arms not working, your brain not working, there's nothing that you can't accomplish if you are healthy. But if you're sick, we want to keep the people healthy. And whatever natural comes will take you off the planet. Healthy in all forms and fashions, mentally, morally, and spiritually. Your health is your wealth.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you.
Healthy TV programs to look at, and healthy relationships. You will be 100%. Put more resources into the health of human beings.
Okay, I definitely agree. I guess my follow-up question, too, is what programs or projects would you create to promote the, the education of health to the constituents in order to enlighten them so they will understand the better need for healthier options?
You would most definitely have to start with the youth by putting curriculums in the school system that teach them what foods to eat and what food not to eat. Everything is not good to eat. Even though some people are convinced all they have to do is say a prayer over poison and they can live. I don't agree. You can't pray over poison and eat it and think you're going to live. And we have some things that are poison to our body that we should not eat. So I would institute or attempt to put in the curriculum of the school system a diet of healthy eating. Mainly, you would have fruit part of the diet. Fruit would be something eaten every day. Or the menu of the Senate dining room, they have a law that Navy bean soup must be on the menu every day. And you can look it up. That they have on the menu Navy bean soup. Why Navy bean soup? There's something in it that takes radiation out of the individual when they eat it. When it's prepared, look it up. If you doubt what I'm saying. It's the most nutritional thing a human being could eat. Navy bean soup from Michigan. The small pea navy bean.
Well, yes, sir, and thank you so much, caller, for calling into the radio station. We definitely appreciate it, and we have a few more callers, it looks like, so I'm going to give them an opportunity to ask their questions as well. So caller with the last four digits, 0317. You are now live on Proclaimit Radio, and you can ask your question to Anthony Muhammad.
Hi, my name is Rich Blackman, and I'm calling from Lynchburg, Virginia. And I was wondering, what's your plan to improve education in Ward 8?
The plan to improve education in Ward 8, bring additional STEM. You heard of that? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We are lacking in every one of those fields. Also, would bring even myths, mathematics, information science, natural science, and technology. Those are main ingredients for this modern technology society which we are living in today. Encourage tutoring and mentoring from the universities in the DMV. There are college students that can mentor a lot of the students that are in the schools in Washington, D.C., that live in the city and may not go to the schools that there, but they can mentor a lot of the students that are either borderline failing or failing. In Washington, some of the better schools are not available for some of the students to go to. We recommend a citywide lottery system for the public school system to allow the neighborhood children to go to those schools first choice. Bring back trade schools. Encourage parents to get involved in their children's life in school. Make it a part of the curriculum and the system where they would get credit if their parents were involved.
Yes, sir, and definitely appreciate you answering that question, and you're definitely right. We got to have the parents involved with everything that we do in the school systems and definitely teach the children so that they can make more educated decisions and even come to their parents and say, Mom, maybe can we have this for dinner? Because that makes a huge, huge difference, just giving the children the knowledge so they can do better. So I definitely wanted to thank you, caller, as well, for calling in and asking your question. And if anyone else has a question, you can just dial 646-478-0603 and just press 1, and we'll have you live on the air. And just to continue on, because you are also a small business owner, Anthony Muhammad, you have probably gained a lot of valuable skills as a businessman, and I wanted to know how can you use those skills to help you be a better council member as well?
It teaches you commitment. It teaches you budgets. It teaches you being on time, being punctual, It teaches you sacrifice. It teaches you humility. It's a host of attributes that you most definitely would learn having and owning a small business. From charity to humility to collaboration to working in unity with others, and one of the most valuable, listening to others' concerns. The most valuable. And those two other things, the education, we would most definitely, when in bringing back vocational, you would have to bring back workforce development in this 21st century.
Yes, sir. And as far as we actually mentioned it a little bit before, we were talking about the joblessness rate. And from what I found in my research in 2014, the unemployment rate in Ward 8 was at 17.7%, and in comparison to D.C. in general, which was only at 8.1%, Ward 8 was definitely one of the higher jobless, parts of the community than any other ward. And I know you talked about entrepreneurship as well, but how can we inspire, what would be your plan to inspire people to learn about entrepreneurship and actually to think that it's for them? Because I know with Proclaimit Radio, we do have a lot of entrepreneurs come on, and the main thing that I've seen about people with entrepreneurship is they have that fear. Either someone tells them that, why would you want to do that? That's kind of hard. You just get that good government job. But as we can see, there just aren't as many jobs available. So what would you do to kind of show people the way, or at least get them excited about maybe, well, if I can't find a job, then maybe I should make one?
Well, we have already made it. We were the first ones that had a sell dinner. We used to sell dinners from our house. We were the ones when we needed to supplement our income. We were the ones cleaning up someone else's house. We were the ones that had an ice cream truck. And if we didn't have a truck, we had a candy store, and some neighborhoods still have them in their house. So we already know the idea and principle of entrepreneurship. We already know that when there's something needed, somebody will come and look, and we will give them what they're looking for. We are and have always been inventors. So to get the idea that's already in their head, they just have to be stimulated to actually go and do it. Because we want to support the idea that our president has put out there, Mr. Obama, free community college where you can earn an associate degree. Free. So a lot of excuses are being taken away from those who say, I don't have enough education or enough ability to create or make my own job, when it's right there for us. All we have to do is apply ourselves and be willing to go to work to get these things done. So allowing especially ex-offenders to acquire licenses in all areas, and currently it's barred. I could be an IT specialist incarcerated, but when I get out, they won't allow me to go near a computer. When I was incarcerated, I could break in cyberspace. When I get out, okay, you have a felon, so you can't. So when will the time be up that I've already served? When does it end? When will it end? That's why I have another program that most definitely would have to be implemented called Help Save the Endangered Species, the black man. The endangered species, the black man. 85% of the families in Ward 8 are headed by a female. Men are locked up, unemployed, or unemployable. A lot don't want to work because they have to pay child support. We have grants and everything else. And they want to pay you a minimum wage. And if they have to pay child support, they're going to be living on the street a lot if they use the formula that they have in Washington or any other state. So a lot of barriers, have to be taken off men and those who are formerly incarcerated. If they have done their time, then they should be able to be free to get and work whatever job they are qualified to work.
Yes, sir. I definitely agree with that 100% because it just seems like if you serve your time, that was supposed to be your debt to society. So to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense that you wouldn't be able to come out and do what it is that you need to do in order to make a good living, so you don't have to go, so you don't do something that's illegal. But I definitely agree 100% with what you just said. And in addition to voting, how can today's audience support your campaign? Do you have any rallies coming up, et cetera?
They could go on my website and support financially. All over the country, you're not limited. You can go on Muhammad4ward8.com. Muhammad, MuhammadForward8.com. And where you will see proven leadership, proven experience, and proven commitment.
Yes, sir.
A lot of the work that I do is actually volunteer. I do not get paid to be an ANC. I do not get paid I do not get paid to be on the taxi cab commission or on the architect and interior design board. I don't get paid. I sacrifice, and I'm on those committees and boards. And I'm elected to do it.
Yes, sir. And in addition to that,
how low that you want to make a contribution from $1 to $1 billion? But $500 is the limit that you can actually donate to a city council's campaign. That's the highest you can. You can donate as low as $1.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you definitely want to take a look at your website as well, so we can help out and definitely support our brother. And if elected, what should we do as citizens to ensure that you have success on implementing some of the strategies that you've mentioned after the election time is over?
Well, I always need volunteers. I always need people at the polls, the 16 polls that are in Ward 8, all over this ward. I would need at least 60 people just to volunteer to help pass out literature at each of these polls on the day of election and the day of early voting, on the week of the early voting, which is every day for 7 days.
Yes, sir. And how can we connect with you, or how can we connect with you if we have suggestions, or if we want to donate? Do we just go on your website? How else can we connect with you?
Yes, you can go on the website and get the my email address. You can go on the website, Muhammadforward8@gmail.com.
Yes, sir. And do you have any final words for our audience? Why we should pick you over, or actually, why should we pick you over any other candidate?
Because I have proven leadership. I've been elected since 1990. I have proven leadership, proven experience, and proven commitment. I've been tried and tested and ready to be tried and tested again. And I've been elected on the ballot since 1990.
Yes, sir, and that is definitely powerful, and I just wanted to thank you again, Brother Anthony Muhammad, for coming on the show and sharing your passion with us, because we could definitely tell this is something that you really feel strongly about and you really care about the people, and that's really what we need in our leadership position, people that care about other people and not people who are just doing things for show. So I can't stress enough how thankful we are to have you come on and answer our questions, and we definitely wish you much, much success, and we want to lend you our support. And in closing, I just wanted to remind everyone that this episode of Proclaimit Radio was brought to us by loveme.meechee.com and travelally.biz, your one-stop shop for affordable vacations, cruises, passports, hotel stays, and much more. And that's travelally.biz, and we're sponsored by icarewegive.com, a free fundraising site to raise money for people of color, for community causes, and our personal projects. You can start a campaign today and support your own on icarewegive.com. And remember to tune in next week and every Wednesday for more business interviews and community activists. And you can get all of our show updates on proclaimitradio.com. You can tweet us at proclaimitradio, or you could tweet me directly at @AxiomMaryPosa. And you can like us on Facebook. And I wanted to thank you all for tuning in to Proclaimit Radio, and I wanted to leave you all with this. If self-improvement is the basis for community development, then the solutions to all of our community issues are within each of us, so we should all proclaim it today. And peace and blessings, everyone.
Awake from the dream of the picture you painted. If you want it, proclaim it. Say it loud and proclaim it. Make sure you leave with something more than you came with. You will achieve, fueled by the word to attain it. So no more complaining, proclaim it.